The first time I've been to church was with my wife, and it was 10 years ago. And remember, I'm sitting in the same foyer that I eventually got baptized. But I remember holding on to my wife's hand halfway through, and she really appreciated that. And so when I got baptized, when I was waiting to get baptized in the foyer, afterwards I asked her, I remember being here about 10 years ago at the same place. And she said, yes, you were very impatient, and you let out a big sigh, and everyone was looking at you. It was clearly not how I remembered it. So I grew up in a family that were pretty agnostic, so I wasn't really sure what religion is all about. But Elizabeth will always encourage me to come once in a while. So I would come a few times every year, but we made a commitment to get married in the church. And at that time, she told me, well, our children have to be baptized. And I said, okay. And I saw at the time, I would just have more time free on Sundays for myself. But when my son was born, we started to take him to Mass every week. I think Jesus and I had a good understanding that he'll do his thing and I'll do my thing, and we're sort of on the right path, and we would just not interfere with each other. One day, Deacon Andrew asked me if he could have my email, and you can't say no to giving out just your email to someone disrespectful. And so I said, sure, I'll give you my email. And I remember at the time I thought, oh, maybe he wants to invite me to Alpha. And sure enough, he sent me information about Alpha, and a couple of weeks later, he said, well, have you given it a soft thought? No pressure. And I remember at the time I was thinking, okay, I'll give it some thought. And then a couple of weeks later, he asked me again. I said, okay, sure, I'll do it. And I think it's the process of going through Alpha and going through RCA where I really started to feel comfortable asking questions about what Catholicism is and who God is and why do we need to believe in God and why do we need to believe in Jesus. One of the things that he would tell us is that God is love. And at the time, I didn't quite understand what it was. But every time I participate in the parish events, I can feel the smile and joy and love coming from everyone at the parish. We would go to Mass at different places in the world. And I remember thinking, oh wow, the priests everywhere and the parishioners everywhere are super nice. It's not just our parish, the Catholics everywhere are really nice and loving. And it wasn't until very later on, even after I got baptized and I was helping out at Alpha, when I realized that the reason why I was able to believe in Jesus because I felt the love from Jesus through others. And I didn't know what it was then, but I just felt like I trust what he says. I felt the Holy Spirit all these time. I just didn't realize what it was. After I got baptized, I was sitting in the front of the church when my nephew got baptized, but I never really felt the closeness that I felt to Jesus on the day of my baptism. I felt I was sitting there and Jesus was very close and he was looking at me sort of telling me that he was there all along and he would be there always and he would be there when I need him. I remember thinking there, it was a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure and it was good responsibility and good pressure to know that there's someone watching over me and I'm making the commitment to do my best to follow his teachings. Before I learned more about Jesus' teaching, I was very easily irritated and very easily frustrated by what other people, especially my wife, what my wife was doing, what other people were doing. And I remember being jealous of what other people have and not happy with what I have. But afterwards, I realized I'm actually very lucky. I was able to feel Jesus' love and feel his guidance all throughout my life. And after I learned more, after baptism, I started to realize that my life is great. I'm very happy with my life. And it's now my time to share this love with others and to basically spread the gospel. And now I'm very excited to tell people that I've been baptized. I talk about coming to Mass and my experience with Jesus more. And you know you're not alone and there's someone there for you.